How many stages are there in a sales cycle and how many of them can you automate? If you have this question, then that's exactly what I'm going to answer in this episode. So, hi, I am Saranya Narayana Moorthy, your sales doctor. I run two companies, the Content Pod, which is an SEO and an AEO agency, and Line.Digital, which focus on B2B sales automation for companies to automate their sales process. And on top of these, as a sales doctor, I train, consult, and coach entrepreneurs and their sales team to leverage and to optimize their sales process right from lead generation until sales closure. So, with this, let's get into today's content. So firstly, what are the stages of a sales funnel? So there are 12 stages of a sales funnel that you need to be aware of, and let me tell you what you can automate and what you cannot automate. The first stage of a sales funnel happened to be scripting the customer persona. Now this is where you clearly analyze, so for my offer, for what I'm selling, who exactly is my customer? So we create a persona, and based on this persona is what we do the next prospecting. So this customer persona can be entirely scripted through an automation wherein we involve strategic frameworks and modulation to compare who are the competitors in the industry, what is the solution that I am offering, and how can I create this complete customer persona by automation. So we can create two to three models of these are my ideal prospect, 2 to 3 ICPs from different demographies catering to different size of your products, and once this process is sorted, this can be on repeat consistently just through sales automation system. Now the second part of the sales funnel is identifying the prospect who fall into the customer persona. Can this be automated? Yes, this can be automated. So this is a stage where based on your first ICP, we collect a list of prospects. Be it a small and genuine list of 500 to 1000 or a larger list of 10,000 to 20,000. So whatever the list size is, and remember, this is only for the B2B segment, this is not for B2C, because we cannot do lakhs of prospecting in this list because ideally the spam rate would go higher. So on a B2B scale, if we stay within the genuine parameters of how an outbound marketing funnel can work, then we are all good here. So once we identify these prospects, stage 3 of a sales funnel is where we look for intent and buying signals. Let's say the 500 prospects that you have, you're just having them because they fit into your customer persona, right? There is no guarantee or there is no requirement that they would buy from you. So that is where in the third stage of the sales funnel, we qualify them and we look for buying signals and intent. And this process can be totally automated because once we configure on the system on what the buying signals are, what the intent is, it is almost very easier and effective to categorize and then look only for the warm prospect or for the one for whom it's ideal to pitch. Now once you know that, the fourth stage of the sales funnel is to look what and when to pitch. So more we understand the buying signals and more we look for intent, then comes what to pitch and how to pitch, right? The reference of context is crucial. You cannot choose a blind pitch to anyone just because they fall into particular frameworks, because this way when it happens, you are not actually taking control of the process and you're just shooting out a blind cold message or a cold email which will not get you anywhere. So depending on what the buying signal is, depending on what the intent is, the pitch should happen, which can be completely automated. The fifth part of it is where we pitch and actually observe the reactions. So this is where the pitch goes out and then you see what is the reactions of the customer. Have they engaged? Have they opened? Have they responded? What is the response? So this process can be completely automated, based on which the sixth part of the sales funnel, the follow-up works. The follow-up is where, depending on the reaction of your customer in the previous stage, you then choose either your response or your reaction. So based on this, the seventh stage of the sales funnel, we repeat the engagement trigger until you get a meeting booked. And this can be completely automated because in this engagement triggers, we either engage with them on social media, send them another email, or look at what are the places where they're engaging and see how we can connect with them. So all of these can happen through very neatly integrated automation systems, so that you are not just worrying about how should I engage, or will it just be mundane regular engagements, or will it be personalized. The eighth part of the sales funnel is sharing content to educate. So now we have engaged, we have followed them up, and we have ideally looked forward to them. But what is the next thing that we can do? We need to warm the audience, right? So until now they are a cold pitch because you just took a prospecting list, you just looked for intent and you were pitching. But still almost all of them are cold. So here is where we create content that will actually push your conversations forward by building trust, by telling them more about what you do, and by building a connection. So depending on what stage of buying cycle your customer is in, we can create automation system that creates content, shoots it at the right time and sends it to the prospect exactly catering to the buying signal. So this way you're not just automating the pre-nurture part, but you're also creating a scope for your customer to build a trust on you. And ninth stage of the sales funnel is getting appointments booked. And yes, this can be the best part of your sales automation. But after the appointment, you are supposed to turn up on the sales call, and that is a part that we cannot automate because sales is a completely human process, and I would clearly tell you, be there on the sales call. The 10th stage of the sales funnel would be the nurture funnel. So this is ideally where after your call, we are still continuing to send them content that will push them towards a buying decision. So this is the time between sending a proposal and the negotiation where the customer has a unique space to think about you, make a decision and can take the next steps on how they can proceed. So here we actually label the prospects on what category they fall to. Do they have an urgent need or are they not looking for it right now? Were they curious? What are their thoughts? And based on that, so depending on that, we set a nurture funnel to them so that overall the message is not just personalized to the prospect, but it's also automated in a way that you don't need to move your finger. The 11th step of the sales process is negotiation. Of course, a completely human-led process, the one that cannot be automated. And the final step of the sales funnel is closing the deal and getting your invoice in. This, depending upon how we do, can either be automated right from sending a contract, following up, getting the payments and everything, or you can experience the joy of getting money by doing all of it manually. Again, choice is up to you. So if you see, out of the 12 steps of the sales funnel, other than the ones that would require you to be on the call with your prospect, rest almost every part of the sales funnel can actually be automated. So depending on which software you use, depending on which CRMs you use, which tools you use, whether you want to do it on LinkedIn, whether you want to do it on WhatsApp or emails or however you wanted to do it, we can set up systems that can ensure that your sales is a frictionless process and you never have a dry pipeline. Because sometimes the issue with SDRs or having a team that is completely manually led, it is not a predictable source of leads, and many times your pipelines are uncertain and you will not know what lead to pitch, when to pitch, or you will not know when the volume would just drop. But in case of automation system, that is not an uncertainty you're signing up for. You're almost creating system that will make you feel entirely secure. API keys and credits and your constant pitching, and once you know that this is a funnel, this is a content that works, the only thing that you need to do is scale it exactly the way it is. So if you're ready to automate your sales process, to look at the next level of sales and be all about predictable revenue, then this is exactly the right time for you. So if you're serious about sales, connect with me on LinkedIn at Saranya Narayana Moorthy, drop me a DM and let's discuss on how we can automate your sales process. Until then, if you want to learn more about B2B sales, B2B lead generation, if you want to learn anything about how you can strengthen your sales process, subscribe to this channel and I'll see you on the next episode. Until then, signing off for now, your sales doctor. Let's close some sales.